Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm hoping that I can make a huge dent in all of this junk that's laying around the shop. Technically it's not junk because a lot of it is listed on eBay. Not all of it, but I'd say probably 75% is in my eBay store. It was all organized at the Junkyard and easy to get to. I knew where it was all at, but now it's just kind of in piles. So I'm gonna have to sort through everything once again. But for the time being, I'm going to be moving all this stuff into the shipping containers. Big dent in cleaning up the shop. As you can see, this side over here looks really nice and this side is getting there. I've cleaned up a ton of parts and moved a ton of stuff into the shipping containers and organized some stuff in the shipping containers, but you know, we can almost get cars back through the doors, which is a plus. shop is finally coming along, and as you can hear, it sounds a lot larger. And that's because all the stuff that was in here that really didn't need to be in here, like parts, transmissions, some engines are still up against the back wall, and I'm going to keep all those under the painting supplies. But for the most part, all the stuff, and there's still some that needs to go out to shipping containers, but I need to start organizing the shipping containers a little bit so I could fit more stuff in them, or I could just buy another one. I'm not 100% sure, but I do want to be able to find stuff and start listing stuff once again on eBay, because I haven't listed anything on eBay for probably about 4 or 5 months. The whole time I've been moving, it's just been so time consuming. I have sold stuff, but after a while you start, your product starts to dwindle because you start to sell it. So I'm gonna have to get back on that, but it's really nice. There's still a bunch of stuff behind me. Actually, not too much. I have the rotisserie and some stuff over there, the Tesla drive unit, which is going to go over there for the time being with that 6.4 swap. But for the most part, coming around here, I mean, we have everything kind of closely set up how I want it. So I'm not going to be able to keep 5 cars right here. The Z is going to go under the lift. So the plan is to, like I've said before, I'm going to get 2 4-posts, but they're 2-car 4-posts. So I'm not 100% sure if I'm just going to put one in the center right here of this aisle and then put the other one in the center of the other shop, or if I'm going to put 2 of them right here, and then I could eventually get another 2 right here later on down the road, and then do something later on down the road with 3 2-posts right here. So I'm going to be getting 3 lifts. Once I get the lifts, I'm just gonna have to figure out, probably once I get the first one up, where I want to put everything so I can kind of optimize my space, optimize my storage, and have a shop that actually looks presentable, unlike the Junkyard shop where it was really small, you couldn't really see what was going on, and it worked good for a really long time, but I really outgrew it pretty fast. I had stuff pretty much everywhere. I mean, it was just kind of difficult because there wasn't any way to store stuff outside, and doing eBay, just having the inventory, you can only put stuff so many places. I didn't want to build anything into that shop because it wasn't mine. So the great thing about this shop is I can, I have land, I can put shipping containers on it. It's zoned industrial, and it's actually zoned heavy industrial. So I could pretty much do whatever I want at this location, but it's just really nice to have the cars set up so you can actually see them, get around them, and there's not a bunch of piles of parts around them or on them. And you guys know what the old shop looked like. So it just looks a lot more presentable. And as I set this shop up, I want to continue to leave it like this because it's nice to be able to walk around in the shop like this and not have to worry about walking around stuff. So there are a few cars in here that I'm probably going to put back outside for the time being because I really don't need them in the shop until I need to start working on them. These 3 right here, eventually I'll fix these 2 up, but this car, this Pulsar right here, is a parts car. So it has a Bluebird SR20 turbo engine that's going to end up going in this car. This red car has a Neo VVL, which is going to go in the all-wheel drive GTIR. So this has quite a bit of significant rust. So I'll just use it for parts for this Pulsar and use the engine and some other stuff. And then we'll get this one dialed in. And then the Supra will also get dialed in, but it doesn't need to be in the shop. All 3 of these cars don't need to be in the shop. They're just in here because when me and Chris were moving, it was just easier to roll a car off the trailer into the shop because the shop was empty. Once the shop started to fill up, it was kind of hard to get cars out because I started moving stuff forward and moving stuff in and just kind of putting it as I filled up the shop. So now I can finally get that car out of there. I haven't done the video on the Celica, but I just picked up this RA24 Celica. Sarah kind of convinced me to buy it. It was actually a really good deal too. So we'll do something with this. It already has a swap in it. The video will be probably after this one. And then the Tesla drive unit and the rotisserie will just kind of go in their own spots once I figure out where those spots are, and just kind of go from there. And all this stuff right here is going to go in the shipping container, not the drive unit, but the rest of this stuff. And I probably want to build a shipping container, kind of lay one out for all the glass that I have. So this is a spare back glass for the FC, and I have a lot of glass, and I've just kind of been stacking it against the walls over here because it's the only place that I could figure out, you know, it's the only place that I thought it wouldn't take up a bunch of room. So we have just bunches of glass all against the wall, and I'll have to most likely build a shipping container so it can hold glass in it. And I think it'll be really nice, because at the junkyard they had like a glass shelf. It was made out of wood, and they kept all like their back glasses in it. So you know, I'll probably just build something like that into a shipping container, and then I could just not have to worry about all this glass in the shop up against the walls. It really doesn't take up space. For now, it will be fine. That'll probably be something I'm gonna do as a project later on down the road. And then I also have to figure out what I'm gonna do about the random seats and interior that I have from Chargers and Durangos and stuff like that. I'll also have a few bride seats and stuff like that, but we'll figure it out. It's going to kind of be a process, but I wanna get the shop set up pretty soon because I have a bunch of stuff that I need to work on. Not the Celica, I need to work on that too. I need to work on a bunch of this stuff, but I need to do a subscribers Magnum. I now have pretty much all the parts that I need for that car. So I need to get that in here in the next episode, and I'm gonna pretty much strip it, do all the modifications to the engine bay, and then figure out what color the guy wants the engine bay painted, or what color he's gonna paint the car, so I can go ahead and scuff everything and paint the engine bay and get that car ready to do all the swap and get it out of here, so I don't have to, you know, so it's done, so he could have his car back, and then we could just move on to the next thing, which will be awesome. So I'm gonna end the video here. Hopefully this looks like something got done, because it was definitely a lot of work, and we'll just kind of go from there. But if you like these videos, make sure to click the subscribe button, throw a thumbs up, share it with your friends if you know anybody that likes projects or any of the projects that I have. And as always, see you guys next time.